earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
Here's one I made earlier. Here's one I made earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
Hello, and Merry Christmas Blue Peter fans, and welcome to Here's One I Made Earlier, the Blue Peter YouTube channel that's trying to be a TV show but failing miserably, but has worked out ways to improve the lighting setup, so no longer will we look bland and boring, we will look amazing and glorious. Oh, I'm all decked out in my Christmas jumper for today's Tom's Blue Peter reviews. This is the sequel to the first one that was utilised an old episode of a pilot of a potential Blue Peter podcast that never came to fruition because the pilot didn't work in the grand scheme of the other pilot. So, we are here to bring back the series with a triumphant. This time we're travelling to the year 1999, but notably the 24th of December 1999, Christmas Eve. Our presenters at that time were I wrote down notes on my iPad, so if you see me looking down or to the side, because I'm trying to get my notes, because I wrote these earlier to make sure the episode's fresh in my mind, so this video is as detailed as possible. So, our presenters were Mark Baker, Katie Hill, Connie Hook, and Simon Thomas. Katie Hill sadly left Blue Peter a year later. 1999 was the year of the Millennium Bug. What I mean by that is that people were scared of what the year 2000 would bring, and they spent all of 1999 going, oh no, as well as living their own lives and getting on with things. It's not just all doom and gloom. We'll never make it all doom and gloom. It's Blue Peter. There's never doom and gloom of Blue Peter, unless they're talking about a really serious topic that requires doom and gloom, but it's serious and heartfelt, never doom and gloom for any doom and gloom's sake. So this episode proves that the doom and gloom was necessary and important, and I think there's an element in this that should return. I don't know whether or not it will return, but my suggestion is for it to return. So if I could just give a suggestion for an element of Blue Peter return, because I think that now more than ever, I think it'll be even more successful than it was for years. I think it'll be more successful now. So we'll get on to that point later. But for now, we're going to talk about the episode at hand. Sorry about that. Cut there. I just had to adjust the lighting slightly because it was blinding me and it looked really weird. Looked like I got dirt on the camera with the light behind. So let's crack on. First of all, the first note I wrote that it was Christmas Eve. We wanted to make it clear that this is as Christmas. Well, it's not as Christmas as you're gonna get because they were broadcasting an episode on the 25th of December 1999. So this is as close to as Christmas as I'm gonna get for this Christmas special. I've got the Christmas jumper on, yes, but it's Christmas Eve. Our next point. Christmas cards, yes. This is a concept that happened for birthday cards for years, and this is what children's TV does really well. So we've got art gets showcased in Blue Peter, and it always has done, and every so often on CBeebies. But I think that the Christmas cards are elements of this and work really well, because it's like we've got all these different Christmas cards. We're gonna show them off. But we're gonna just say this is perfect, and I really like the Christmas stocking. I think that's my favourite because they weren't from Britain, the people that made it, and I think that showed that internationally Blue Peter. I don't know where it broadcasts internationally, but it shows that we care, and it shows that Blue Peter is this thing that wants everyone around the world to enjoy, not just Britain. They make it primarily for a British audience, but in this case, they say, well, look, we're not the only ones celebrating Christmas this year. Here's what's happened. Here's what these people have made, and it was a Christmas stocking, and it looked amazing. But the best bit was, I don't know when the photo was taken or when the stocking was actually sent to them, because I don't know because you have to know the context around that. So if they're out there watching this, do let me know. They had a photo where they had shown the make that Katie Hill had made previously. They had made it to make their house more Christmassy with their Christmas stocking, and they got someone to take a photo of, which I just think is just perfect Blue Peter. That says to me, this is Blue Peter. We inspire the nation and people around the world. We care. We like it. And I think that's just perfect. Because that's what Blue Peter does best. It's at the heart of it, it's about caring. It's about, we might be doing all these incredible and amazing things, but you could do all these incredible, amazing things too. Look at these makes. I mean, the one Matt Baker did in this episode, slightly a little bit out of reach, due to the fact that I'm not too sure how many households in 1999, or now actually, have access to sandpaper, unless you use sandpaper all the time. I don't know where you can even buy sandpaper in 1999. I wouldn't know where you could buy sandpaper in 1999. You could probably get them online now, but I think that the make was slightly a little, just the element of sanding it down. I mean, you could probably get a tin can that needs sanding down. So I do think that it is doable if you already have a non-needed sanding down paper. But some people might have had sandpaper. You don't know. We won't know that unless you made the make yourself. You wouldn't know who had sandpaper and how many people actually made the make. So if you made that make from December the 24th, 1999, do let me know in the comments wherever you're watching this, so that we can bask in the sense of you did have sandpaper, so it did work. Because that's my only thing that I think that was a little bit out of reach. The rest of it was doable. Unless you get cans that are very much of the persuasion of we don't need sanding down because we're not going to have sharp edges because of the ring pull. So I don't really know necessarily where we all stand on that. But where I stand on that is that it makes more sense in a logistical sense that you get a can that doesn't need sanding down, because you could probably follow along with this make now. I would say you could probably do that. And we jumped the gun slightly a bit there, but let's talk about the bit that really confused me in this episode. A ballet. So, ballets, from what I know, and I've never seen a ballet, but I know this from the sense of, oh no, it's a ballet. I think ballet is a really good art form, right? I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm disagreeing with is ballets don't really last, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. They're lengthy things, because I think you tell the story very slowly, and then you have to get someone to explain you what the story was, unless you're watching the Nutcracker like they were, and everyone knows the story of the Nutcracker. Apart from me, it seems. I wasn't 100% sure. But they had ballet a bit of the Nutcracker on, and I think that the length of time they had it on was amazing. So when you watch Blue Peter, in a general sense, when you're not watching a Christmassy episode, what you get is either at the beginning or at the end, you get a performance. Not always, not every episode, but occasionally you get a performance. So if it's, let's say, a musical number, they do one song from the musical. Yes. The most popular song, the one that people might know. And if they're a dance troupe, they do a singular dance, or if it's a musician, sorry if I bang the line. If it's a musician, they do a song. It's nothing extravagant and lasts ages. They've got enough time for it, so the song's like 3 or 4 minutes or whatever. But a ballet lasts so long. I was really amazed that they managed to get the ballet in it, because they had a lot jam-packed in this episode. So from them arriving on a remote control bed, saying that Santa's got his sleigh, but they've got this remote control bed. I didn't see who was controlling it. It's probably one of the crew behind the camera controlling it. I think the ballet just, it was interesting me about, you've managed to condense what is a long ballet into this short form. And I think that's really worked really well, because you sort of think that if you do something that's longer, you'll run out of room to do another item, or you'll just bore people. And I think it wasn't boring, because I just think they did it in a way that made it unboring, and I think they made it accessible. Because I think that's the issue. if ballet and opera are the two unaccessible mediums because they're not very much friendly with the modern audience, like kids. I wouldn't see a kid going to watch an opera unless they were really into opera. But I think that if they do opera on Blue Peter in a condensed form, then people would go, I might like to go and see that, and it'll become more of a habit. But having the ballet in a short form and then seeing where the ballet is going to be performed meant that I really like that. I want to go and see it before, and you'll get more of an enjoyment out of it because you've seen the snippet and you've seen the bit that makes it more appetizable, if that's even a correct word or term that anyone should be using, because I highly doubt that's the wrong term to use, but we went with it. So then we go further and we have the appeal. So the Blue Peter appeals have always been a thing. Well, not always, but for a good number of years the appeals were a thing. Now, I don't know why they stopped doing the appeals, but I understand that Blue Peter does do their charity segments when it's Red Nose Day or when it's Comic Relief. So they do Red Nose Day specials or Children in Need special and highlight what the kids are doing to raise money and all this. So that fundraising element of the appeal is still there in Blue Peter because they make sure that the Red Nose Day and Children in Need are heavily utilised on the days that those events are, because it means that here's what the kids have been doing in the run up to Red Nose Day, here's what the kids have been doing in the run up to sport relief, here's what the kids have been doing on the run up to Children in Need. And I think they should incorporate the other charities from, well, the other one I can think of is Stand Up to Cancer for Channel 4. They should incorporate that into Blue Peter, because even though Channel 4 doesn't do an appeal show, a telethon show every year for Stand Up to Cancer, I do think that it's a worthy cause. That I know that it's not a BBC charity, as in the BBC don't really showcase stuff for that charity. I think that Blue Peter is a good platform to advocate that charity in a children's sense. So what I mean by that is that even though Stand Up to Cancer is to help fight off cancer, but children also get infected by cancer. So I think that Blue Peter could have the children element of the charity, so help raising money because of such and such a person. So talking about children with cancer, and I think that would help awareness for cancer, not just in adults but in all ages. So I think that if they can't bring back the appeals like we've had for years, then I think that adding an extra charity show to celebrate one of the other charities that have been fundraised through TV. So what I mean by that is that you have a telethon where, like, Children in Need is a programme, they raise money for the charity throughout the night. Currently, they raise money for the charity throughout the night. You can donate whenever you want. You can donate now, you can donate tomorrow, you can donate in 3 weeks. But for one night only, there's a spectacle, there's things happening, and you can donate on top of the fact that you can also watch this incredible, this programme that celebrates the work the charity does. So I think that adding Stand Up to Cancer will fill the hole that I think the appeal has left. And I think the appeal for 1999 is the New Life appeal, and I think that's an important appeal. And I quite liked how when you rewatch episodes have the appeals in them, you see that no matter what year it is, no matter how the audience has changed since the previous appeal, you can still sense that everyone wants to help, because these are all for good causes. And I think the New Life element, which is for babies that were born, I think, either premature or with life-limiting conditions, is to help them, because the hospital need new equipment. Well, they probably still need new equipment because technology advances all the time, so the word new equipment still works now in 2024. But for 1999, they needed new equipment for this to help, and I think Blue Peter did a fantastic job at raising that. and the totalizer wasn't just your bar chart, it was your graph going. It was an interesting way of doing it with the cylinders, with the lighting, with the gold. They made it more of a spectacle. They made it more of a ooh, ah, yee, yes, woohoo! And then they showed the map, and then they cut to the clips of what people have been doing. And I think that was really, really interesting element, because you got like the brownies and the guides making bake sales, you've got cake sales, and I think that that's what you should do. And that's what Children in Need does as well. So you don't just say this money's going to this thing because of this reason. You go, that's all well and good that they're raising the money, but here's how people are helping to raise this money. So this money that we're raising, this is how they're doing it. And I think that even though that was a small segment of the episode, I think that proves the point that no matter what the charity is, people love helping. People love gathering together, going, right, even though we might not be able to raise 31 grand, we'll be able to raise £250, we'll be able to raise £1,000, we'll be able to raise £100, we'll be able to raise something to help go towards it. Let's do a bake sale, let's do a cake sale. People love cakes, people love donuts, people love wearing whatever. And I think that showing that off meant that Blue Peter went, it's not just about the totalizer, this is what our viewers have been doing, and we appreciate what you've been doing. And I like that. They're appreciating what the audience is doing, they're proud of the audience, and that's what you should be. And that's why TV is so important. And I'm not gonna ever say that. It doesn't matter what program I'm talking about, no matter what's happened, I always think TV is important because it gathers together the nation, especially here in the UK. Because this is the broaden of my experience, is that we do this for the good of other people. So if we wouldn't, Children in Need wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the help that the charities that Children Need support help, and the money that people raise, and it's all about the element of we care, we're here to help, and no one's going to stop us from helping. We want to help these people. We want to help the charities. We believe in the cause. And that's what Blue Peter does well, because he chooses worthy causes, as always. So, New Life was a fantastic appeal, and a very important appeal. Throughout the show, because it was December 24th, 1999, they kept on mentioning the fact that tomorrow was the 25th of December, 1999, but it was also the final decade, the final year in the 19-something or others. Because the very next year, it was going to be the year 2000. And now, luckily enough, when we got to the year 3000, we've got to compare it to the Busted song. We've been to the year 3000, not much had changed, but we've been underwater. In the year 2000, they didn't really have a song that was making a claim that we were all living underwater, so they didn't have much to go off on that front, but now we do. And I think that mentioning that the year's 2000, the following year, I think that is fascinating because it means that they're excited, and it means that it proves certain elements. So there was an element in it where Simon Thomas went off to go and go to the origins of Christmas. Go to Bethlehem. I think it was Bethlehem. And he goes over there and he explains the Christmas story, but showing off some of the elements from the story that were... sorry, I do apologise about the mic noise. There were elements used in the story. So he went to the place where the manger, where the nativity would have been set. Because there's a church that's there to help represent that even further. So there's building been built into it, and I think that having them elements helped. And the reason why he did that was because of the next year being the year 2000. So before the camera dies, we move on to the pet presents. So at one point, when they had all the pets, they had a present to give out to all the pets. Some of them had all ran off. Basically, the point where they wanted presents, they all went, "Nah, I'm alright. They all ran off. They all ran off somewhere else. And I think that was hilarious, because Come back, animals! Oi, come back! Wait! Come back! We want to give you presents! Hello! Come back! And then they weren't coming back. And some of them did, and they got the presents, and they were like squeaky toys. Like the squeaky hot dog is one example. And went, oh yeah, I'll give all the presents to them later, because they've all run off now. And it's like, well, yeah, they all run off. And the last thing we're going to talk about in this, before our camera dies, I don't know why I said our, it's my camera, before the camera dies, shall I say, we're going to talk about the carols. Now at the very end, we sang Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and this wasn't just them singing it, the presenters. It was a selection of schools, the BBC choir, and a marching band. I've never tried to sing Hark the Herald Angels Sing whilst walking into a studio, so that was already an issue. It was already an error occurred. So they're trying to sing Hark the Herald Angels. I'm not knocking anything. Hark the Herald Angels Sing whilst trying to walk. This is my impression of someone walking whilst I'm walking, and then they get in, and it's like, right, okay. So they're still singing, oh, the newborn king. But the bit that really made me chuckle was the fact that I don't know how much rehearsal time they had beforehand, before this moment, but did they know where they were standing? Because there was one girl that went, oh, I need to stand over there. And she didn't know where she was standing, and she was going to go over there, that way. But then she needed to really stand over this way, because that's where her school was. And then I was getting really concerned, and we were getting towards the end of what believing to be the song. I'm thinking, no, keep singing quickly. They're not all got in yet. They hadn't all come in yet. And so they went, right, we'll sing the rest of the song in a minute. Hang on, we just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:55 a.m. Yes, I know you'll be up. And Matt Baker's like, yes, I know you'll be up at that time. So you will be able to watch it. And it's like, obviously that is the case, he'll be up at that time. But really, it was funny that he assumed that. So then they're all then continue singing, glory to the... And all of them come in at this point. My only issue is that the way the children were singing was in the style of singing that they'd all been practicing with and all this, and that isn't the issue. It's the BBC choir, because choirs have been told and trained to sing glory to the newborn king. This is poor impressions of what choirs do, but it's like a oh, and they're elongating certain words. So when the kids were ready to move on, you can still hear the choir overpowering them in this elongating words, and I think that was both hilarious but also slightly annoying for the kids, because it's like, we're trying to sing here, and they're like, ooh, newborn king, da da, ooh, da, da, da. And it's like, what more do you want from Blue Peter? It's like, they've got the BBC orchestra and BBC choir, who are the trained choir. Then you've got the children that have been practicing, and they did a cracking job, all of them. But I do think the choir at the end was a little bit overpowering due to the fact that they were elongating the words than everyone else. So that was my review of the 24th of December 1999 edition of Blue Peter. And this might be the final Blue Peter video of the year on this channel. And I'd like to wish everyone at Blue Peter, in front and behind the camera, past, present and future, a Merry Christmas. The reason why I said future is because, obviously, if YouTube is around in the future, people might watch this video again, and the current Blue Peter presenter team might not be the same team in 20-30 years' time. In front and behind the camera, so I'm just wishing Blue Peter past, present and future, in front and behind the camera, as in the crew that help on the day recording in studio, and the work and the people that work in Blue Peter with all the letters and all the other teams. So everyone that works at Blue Peter, past, present and future, I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I've been Don Mason, and that's one you've watched earlier.